I'm Elizabeth, and I'm going to give you a tour today of a garden that I designed with the homeowner, who's very creative and talented. And together we've designed this really beautiful garden. And Camille is behind the camera. She's filming us. And this is our first garden tour together. So we're hoping it's a good one, and we hope you enjoy it. This is a garden that I've worked on for about 15 years, and it's a very nice sized property, and we have kind of worked on it a piece at a time. So even though the property's large, it is sort of taking each section and looking at it and kind of designing a piece so that it doesn't feel so overwhelming. And in the beginning, we definitely looked at the property as a whole so that we have a nice cohesiveness to the property. And the first piece that we worked on is the entranceway. So you park up here, and then you walk down, there's a pathway, and then you kind of turn, and there's a little courtyard entrance to the house. So that was the area that we focused on first, because it's what you see every day when you come and go from your house. You ready to walk? So a lot of these pieces were here. The steps were here, the stone walls. We've added in so much planting. But a lot of the sort of backbone of the property was kind of in place. So just before we get to the front entrance, this is, it's funny, it's the flattest piece on the whole property, and the first thing we did was kind of level it out a little bit more. We have added a little bit of a stone wall to make this perfectly level, and then we put in a perennial garden. And this piece was designed really heavily, like we laid it out very symmetrically, and we aligned the arbor with the front door. It just really worked out nicely, and over time it's just gotten just more beautiful. So the basic design theme here was that we centered it on the front door, around the arbor, and so this is 4 pieces that create that square, and then the end pieces were more for like a cutting garden, but they just are, you know, off to the side. We did the obelisk there. Here we have some columnar boxwoods. We had started with roses, and they just didn't look kind of formal enough, so we wanted to have a nice base. And you know, there are lots and lots of plants here, so like early on, you know, you get some colors in, and like now, like you can see, the lady's mantle is completely taking over, and it's really beautiful, and it's the style. I mean, I love it, and the homeowner loves it. So that's really what we do together is, you know, you want something that, you know, when I walk away, I want her to be happy. So she loves plants. We put a lot of plants in here, and this is a lot of work, this garden. So we spend a lot of time, you know, we add things in, we change things about. We have a gate over here, and this wasn't in here originally. We actually added that in. And then there's this really sweet little staircase that was here. We uncovered it. When I looked at the survey of the plant, it was on it. We uncovered it, and she had been given this beautiful Buddha, and now it's sort of a little sanctuary spot. Just wanted the flowers to kind of be the center of everything here. So we wanted to accentuate that it's very symmetrical, but we didn't feel like we wanted to do something that was like, you know, like big or kind of blocked your view. So the next, we're going to go through this gate here, and this was also added in, just like on the other side for the Buddha. This patio we added in a long time ago now, and the gate to it, I'm going to open it. And when we first put this patio in, we called it the helipad because it's round and it was very bare looking. And now, you know, like the homeowner, the style is lots and lots of plants and lots of color. And this is like so typical of something that happens here, where like, you know, you have a table and some chairs, and you have some yarrow that just goes through it. And, you know, we know to keep that because it's just beautiful. And then between the cracks, there's a lot of creeping thyme. Great color, you know, later in the season. some lamb's ear. Cute little birdhouse tucked in there. See it?
There it is.
Tucked in. These are limelight hydrangeas that we put in. And so they'll start to flower soon. Again, that's later color behind it. I don't know if you can see, but there's some boxwood, which give a nice little, you know, some interest in the winter. And there's a wall right behind there as well, so it's kind of lifted up. But there's forsythia, so that bloomed early. Lots of anemones coming, more lambs here, more peonies. And then if you walk this path over to the left here is a really great butterfly bush. There's some poppies in here, so they're obviously past, but you know, early color, which is nice. More fairy roses. And then these were added in the steps here. This had been like a natural slope, and we added in these steps probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I think it's just really pretty. Start fresh here, the boxwoods. A lot of the plants are still from before, but we took out the spruce, which was kind of painful to do, and added in, she'd been given a magnolia. So we added in the magnolia, and then underneath it, we added in all these perennials. So lots of color, you know, about to come. You can see the allium there. I believe those are, I think those are the Globe Masters, so they flower a little bit later. And we've had, though, allium for like the last month in here, blooming like different, like Purple Sensation, all different varieties of allium. And so these are kind of the last ones. There's some delphiniums coming up, some phlox, some spirea, lots of interest in here. So we can walk down if you want to the grass steps. Watch your step. And then this area here, we just kind of wanted to combine sort of a lot of different pieces. So we thought it would be good to kind of give you a place to rest, and then kind of veer off to different areas. So we have the back patio. Over here is the entrance, you know, comes from the front door. Over here we have another pathway, you know, just around. This is a tiny house. This is apple tree. It was here when we got here. And I did start working with the homeowners right when they bought the house. So, and I don't usually do that. Usually people call me after they've been there for a while, but so we've really been working together the whole time they've lived in this house, which is nice. So from standing in the lawn area, which kind of joins all of these areas, the back patio, there's a walkway from the front courtyard area, and then up the steps. I mean, this is incredible. So pretty, and the fairy roses blooming. It just looks so, it's so nice and full, and there's so much color, and you see the perennial garden in the background, which I think is beautiful. You can get a little glimpse of the allium. And then as you pan further over, you know, so under the existing apple tree, we have a lot of plants, more of the lady's mantle. Over here on the back of the tiny house is an espalier tree, but we'll get to that. So in the area here, so we have the, you know, the view up the steps, the view past the tiny house, and then this is just, you know, the most beautiful view that there is. I mean, you have a fountain down at the bottom. There are two sets of really, like, you know, the stone steps are just, they're supernatural. They're really big, and they make such an impact. And we've been through here today, so it's very cleaned up looking, but it can get very, very wild looking, which I think is really pretty too. And then if you kind of pan over a little bit more, this is their back patio. So this is like their living space, and we have climbing roses. I believe those are New Dawn roses on lattice panels, and then there's also an arbor which has wisteria on it, which if you sit under there in the spring, like the wisteria just drips through and you're sitting there. It's just spectacular. So here we're a little bit closer to the fountain now. There's two sets of, let me start that again. There are two sets of stone steps with a little space in between. You can see there's like the evergreen boxwoods are there so that in the winter there's still some structure. But it's kind of neat. You can't tell from here, but there's like a little patio space down there. And then there are actually apple trees that were planted. So there's so much in this garden that's interesting, but I think what we'll do is we'll take a quick walk down and then you'll see it's such a beautiful view turning the other way as well. So if you kind of turn back the way we came, just because I don't want to miss this, it's so pretty. But this is here I'm going to show you. This is that climbing hydrangea. Climbing hydrangea, so it's growing. There's a stone wall back there. You cannot tell. It's holding up the boxwoods and the magnolia. This is a peach tree over here. And over here we have more of the fairy roses, which, I mean, they're always really nice, but this year in particular, they're so beautiful. We have another pocket of them on the other side, and then this is what I was going to show you is like we prune this, but this, you know, kind of grows along the steps, and I just think it's perfect. I love it. We're at the end of the first garden tour. I hope you enjoyed it, and please join us for the next one.